one job, Google, one job, and that was not to screw this up. And oddly enough, I feel like with the Pixel 6 and the 6 Pro, largely when it comes to the hardware, I think they nailed it pretty well. The issue is the software. And whenever you have a phone, there are two different things that are important. You have the hardware experience, you have the software experience, and you could make the most perfect phone ever in the history of mankind. And this is not the most perfect phone, but for the sake of argument, let's say that they completely nailed the Pixel 6 and Pixel 6 Pro. Perfect. Got it 100% right. You take it out of the box, you fire it up, and then it has issues in the form of bugs and an incomplete operating system. And that's what we got. And this is one thing, I've talked about it before. I feel like the Pixel needs to be pushed out earlier. Whenever you rely on having your phone come out at the same time as the operating system, well, that's two different things that you can mess up. And they kind of released they put the Android 12 cake in the oven and they took it out before it was ready. Yeah, it kind of tastes like cake. It kind of looks like cake, but it's not completely cooked all the way evenly across, and that's where the issues come up. I have had so many people that are upset with this phone because there are issues with Android 12. And see, this is not just exclusive to Pixel 6. Go back to the Pixel 4, the Pixel 5. Basically, any one of the Google Pixel phones that's running Android 12 are subject to these issues. Some of them more so than others, and it seems like it's worse with the Pixel 6. So that creates an issue. Now here we have the phone, it works largely okay, and then I'm using it, and then especially with like YouTube Creator Studio, just because that's one that crashes on me like 40 times a day, it takes you out of the experience. It makes you feel like the phone is not quite ready, and a lot of people think that the phone has problems because they're experiencing them with this. They didn't come over from Pixel 5 that had Android 12. They didn't come over from Pixel 5a, 4a, 5G, whatever. That's what they get. At face value, they pick it up and they go, wow, this phone is great, except for this. And I know some people are experiencing this more than others. I don't really understand why. These issues are not uniformly happening to everyone. I know some people that are like, hey, I dropped the quick settings menu and then it freezes up. I can't restart my phone. This doesn't work. That doesn't work. My issues are minimal. Occasionally I'll get a user interface crash where it pops up and it says UI crashed, close it. It doesn't even close the app. It keeps working like it's supposed to. So it's largely not affecting the performance in a lot of ways, but then you get into certain apps and it's like, well, it crashed again. Well, this happened again. And it's really frustrating because Google, they've got the phones. They've got these brand new phones. I think they look sharp. I think they perform well. I like what they did with the phone. And then you have this little asterisk next to it. And it's like, okay, well, it should get better soon. It should get better soon. And it's kind of frustrating because Google hasn't issued like a patch for this yet to fix it. It's creating problems for the phone because people are unhappy about it. And even if they're not unhappy about it, it's creating a narrative that there's problems with the phone. I've had so many people that have popped up in the comments and said, hey, XYZ with this phone. And it's really disappointing because you would think of all things that Google would shore this up and they would have made sure that the Android system was spot on because they waited. They waited till the phone came out to go ahead and drop it. Had the phone come out sooner and had Android 11, they could have had the opportunity to make sure that Android 12 didn't have any problems before it was fully released. Of course, you wouldn't have all the nicety stuff that's on there that makes the Pixel 6 more special. I think that they wanted to make sure that they launched in tandem together. That ended up being a problem, and it's still a problem because they haven't fixed it yet. And the longer they wait to fix this, it gives Google a bad name because, well, the phone doesn't feel like it's ready. The Android operating system doesn't feel like it's ready. And then it's like, okay, well, let's move on to the next thing. They had a moment in time. They had all this time, all this hype, all these people saying, it's going to be great. It's going to be amazing. It shows up. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. And then you have people that are like, hey, I'm having this problem. Hey, I'm having that problem. Hey, this is an issue. And then that's starting to overwhelm the conversation to where it's like, oh, well, they screwed up. Let's move on. Hey, we've got the shiny new S22 Ultra leaks showed up. So now we can start talking about that. So when phones come out, they have a small opportunity in the sun. Whenever it comes to the tech world, you don't have a lot of people that are sitting there and they address stuff on week 1, day 1, week 2. usually you get about 2 weeks, and then the excitement and the buzz dies off, and then it's like, okay, well, it's just part of reality now. And the reality is that the operating system is not ready. It has bugs, and the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro feel like they're incomplete. And that's really a disservice to the fan base. It's a disservice to people picking it up, because you wanted this phone to succeed. And largely, yeah, it's like the hardware finally got on the right page. I know there are concerns with the heating. I'll address that in a separate issue, a separate video. But this one right here is talking about how Google let down the Pixel 6 because they pushed it out when it wasn't ready to swim. It was sitting there. It was in the garage. It had the tarp over it. And it's like, all right, we've got the Pixel 6 and the 6 Pro. Largely, people like them. They're excited about them. There was so much buzz, and the phone itself, the cameras are really nice. The Tensor processor, it does seem to perform pretty well. Beautiful screen. All these nice things. And then it's like, put an asterisk next to it, put a question mark, put some frustration and a sad emoji with some side-cutting eyes. It has issues. And I've talked about the phone. I still think that it's worth buying. I still think that it's a good device. But I hate going out there and having to say, yes, it's great, but. And we have to paint the picture appropriately because, yes, it's Android. It's not necessarily the phone that's creating this problem, but the two are inseparable. You know, if the phone is running properly and it's great and amazing, but then the software experience has these issues, then it makes it an incomplete, imperfect product. And as much as I can say, I like the battery life, well, the software. As much as I like the camera, well, the software. As much as I like XYZ, the software. And Google did this to themselves. They could have waited. They could have waited another week. They could have waited 2 weeks, however long that it took. They put out this half-baked operating system that wasn't ready for prime time yet, and it's messing up the success and the enjoyment and the experience of the phone. And yeah, this is just another issue because back when we had the Pixel 5a, it had the overheating issues when it came to the camera. 99% of the rest of the experience in the phone was fine, but when you have that one thing, it gets fixated on, people look at it, it leaves a black eye on an otherwise very polished phone now that has a blemish that goes associated with it. So yeah, you can see the lights are red, the back. Of course, this is a classic TechOdyssey rant. It's something that shouldn't have ever happened because Google controls this. Google owns this completely because not only do they make the hardware, they make the software too. They should have not put this out when they did. They could have waited 2 weeks. They could have waited however long. They could have pushed it back. But when you let a deadline, when you let a timeline impact and influence how you perform and how you release the product, well, this is just the nature of the beast. This is what you get. They created this problem by saying, okay, it's going to be available this day. It wasn't ready. They put it out there. And people were talking about the embargo because with the embargo, the pre-release stuff, the dual embargo stuff, some people were legitimately questioning, well, maybe there's a problem with it. And whenever you create an embargo and you say, well, you can show it off, but you can't talk about this. Well, that automatically makes people think in their minds, there's got to be something wrong with it. Clearly, they're hiding something. Whether they were or not, I, innocently enough, thought that they weren't hiding anything. And I'm not necessarily saying that they are or were, but when you create that set of circumstances, it makes people talk and it makes people wonder and second guess things. And then the phone shows up and lo and behold, it has these issues. So you had a week or so of people going, wow, it's amazing. Wow, look at it. It's cool. Unboxing experience. Shiny phone. Ooh, wow, aw. And then you follow it up with, hooray, the phone's here. Oh, by the way, there's some issues. And it started off with, oh, yeah, some people are having this issue, some people aren't. And some people are saying, well, this is bad, but it's not. Some people are saying, well, it's Android 12, but it's not the Pixel 6. Well, the Pixel 6 is running Android 12. It's a new product with a new operating system update. Clearly, it has issues. And yes, maybe 95% of people are fine with it. Maybe most people don't care. Maybe most people may not even be experiencing a lot of this stuff. But at the same time, you have to step back, look at it objectively, call it what it is, and say that this is problematic. And that doesn't mean I don't love the phone. I like the phone a lot. I like the Pixel 6. I like the Pixel 6 Pro. I think that they're great. I think that they're fantastic devices for people to pick up. But then I have to also tell you, well, this is a little bit of a problem. Will you experience it? I don't know. Will it be bad? I don't know. Will you care? Yeah, maybe not. But the issue is there. The problem is there. And this is something that never should have happened because Google controls it. It's not like they're LG and they're relying on the software to be produced by Google. Well, LG can go, well, you know, they were behind. Or, hey, they released this and it just wasn't right. These guys controlled the software and the hardware 100%, and they didn't get it right. And the funny thing is people typically expect the hardware to be bad when it comes to a Pixel. There have been asterisks next to so many of their phones because of different things that were quirky, didn't get right, whatever problems. And this time it's not so much the hardware, it's the software. So it's flip-flopped around, and it's like, what do you do? So I wish they hadn't done this. I wish they would have waited a little bit longer. It may have even been more advantageous getting it closer to the holiday season. And of course, you can't even get them in some instances. So I'm like, well, yeah, you could buy it, but there's so little inventory on hand that you can't even get one till like December or January in some cases. So it's a very, very frustrating position to be in. Again, I like the phone. I've made lots of videos about the Pixel 6 and the 6 Pro. I think that Google did a good job there. They get a pat on the back. They get a shiny gold star. And then you go, come on, guys. Why did you let this happen? So, I don't know. Does it irk you? It does irk me. It's something that I feel like needs to be addressed. So if they see this, hey guys, do better next time. Fix your software. And if they don't see it, at least you guys are. And you know, yeah, this is something where really they missed the mark. And they have nobody to blame but themselves. It's not circumstantial. It's not, oh, well, this happened and caused people not to be interested. Or this happened, it was beyond our control. This was something that was squarely in their control, in their operational capacity to make sure this was right before they released it, and they didn't. So that's all I've got in this video. This is a pretty hot topic. A lot of people have been, talking about this, bringing it up in the questions and the comments, and I wanted to address it because it needs to be addressed. So go down to the comment section, sound off. We'll talk about it. We'll discuss it. Again, I like the phone. I like the phone a lot, and that's why it's frustrating because this should have never happened. And it's not putting a mar on the other videos that I made. I feel very confident in the device. I think this has got a great camera. I like the performance. I like the battery life. I like so many things about it. But we got to address the elephant in the room. So that's all I've got. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave those down in the comment section. I'll get back with you. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.